Right, good afternoon everyone. Today we're going to be looking at marketing in the formal and informal sectors. So a good question to ask oneself is there a difference between marketing in the formal and informal sector? And what do you think that difference is? So formal sector businesses are registered businesses that pay taxes. Informal sector businesses are often not registered and usually do not pay tax. Businesses in the informal sector are not recorded by the Central Statistics Service, so it's therefore impossible to know to what extent the informal sector contributes towards the national income. Job opportunities in the informal sector make it possible for many people to provide their own livelihood and income. There's a great deal of interaction between the formal and the informal sectors. The taxi industry, which often operates in the informal sector, buys petrol and vehicles from the formal sector and provides a very essential service to people employed in the formal sector. So there are a number of reasons for people entering the informal sector, and these include that it's the only opportunity of earning an income and making a living. The non-availability of jobs in the formal sector pushes people to start something in the informal sector. Very little competition in the informal sector makes it quite an appealing attraction. To provide much needed goods and services in proximity to the market. So if one lives in an area that is far away from shops and retail stores, to have a little tuck shop right there suits that market. It can result in successful businesses that later become part of the formal sector, and it also gives people the opportunity to be entrepreneurs and learn about businesses. So the prices of products sold in the informal sector are generally lower than the same products sold in the formal sector. The marketing strategies used by businesses in the two different sectors are the same, but they market themselves differently. For example, a fruit and vegetable shop in the formal sector and a vendor on the street selling vegetables use a very different marketing mix because they are attracting a different target market. So I want us to do a comparison of the marketing mix, the 4 Ps, and how the formal sector will engage with those Ps versus the informal sector. So the first picture we've got here is about the promotion policy. So for a formal sector, they'll use national TV advertisements or go on the radio or have colorful magazine spreads, whereas in the informal sector, you may often just find handwritten advertisements on boards or self-generated posters. If we compare the price within each of these sectors, we'll often find that in the formal sector it's higher prices and there's the ability to pay with cash or with credit, whereas in the informal sector the prices can be much lower and normally cash is the only preferred form of payment. If we look at place, normally in the formal sector it's a far more sophisticated interior and it's very spacious, whereas in the informal sector it's casual and crammed and there's no interior decoration, for example at a flea market. When we talk about the product, in the formal sector, it's normally well-known brand names, right? Whereas in the informal sector, there's no branding of any of the products. If we have to compare quality between the two sectors, we often find that the quality of clothing in the formal sector is far better than that in the informal sector. Not necessarily always true, but it is just a generalization. And lastly, if we look at the physical environment, right? In the formal environment, it's possibly in a market store, in a shopping mall, in the CBD, whereas in the informal sector, it could be at a taxi rank or at a spaza shop. So I hope that that has given you a good understanding of comparing how the different marketing strategies would be used in either of the sectors.